Yo, peep this. You just clicked on let's view it, and I'm Tyrone Cross. Welcome to my channel. If you're a new viewer, congratulations. You just found a new great channel for yourself. And after this video, if you like how I do what I do, I just ask you subscribe, help support me. And if that's not a good reason to subscribe, well, then subscribe if you love yourself. One way or another, I just need you to subscribe. Now in today's video, I got some more TQ madness going on, and the subject of transgender women being in women's sports is coming up again. And all the supporters of trans women playing in women's sports are using the same arguments, that there's already unfair physical advantages in sports. So what's the difference? That's where I come in. So you already know, let's view it.
I have some terrible news to break to you. Every elite athlete is exceptional. Every elite athlete has some sort of unfair physical advantage.
No!
How is he gonna give us devastating news like that and ruin my whole reality? This is the worst news that I've ever heard since learning the WWE isn't real. This whole time, I thought Shaquille O'Neal was 7'1", 340 pounds, and it didn't help him at all. But now this info's released, and I learned that he had an advantage. That's cheating. If any of my viewers are devastated by the news he just released, I'm sorry, stay strong, and we'll get through it together.
Now, you probably recognize this guy, Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympic athlete of all time. But you may be less familiar with the whole variety of physical advantages that he had over the competition. Unusually large lungs, disproportionately long torso and wingspan, and legs that would proportionally look like a better fit on somebody who's 5'9". And it's not mentioned here, but through a remarkably rare genetic quirk, he only produced half the lactic acid that other athletes did, which goes a long way to explaining why he always seemed to come from behind to win. So could some trans women athletes have physical advantage in their sport? Sure, but that doesn't make them unique. Elite athletes are elite by virtue of having unfair physical advantages, to say nothing of social and economic advantages.
Well, if I want to blow his whole statement out of the water immediately, not all great athletes had physical advantages over their field. Are you ready for this name drop right now? Kobe Bryant. Yes, to me and the average man, he has a lot of physical advantages, but to the NBA, he had none. Literally none. He was never the fastest. He was never the highest jumper. He was never the strongest. Obviously, his greatness came from his mind, his work ethic, and his willpower to just be better than everybody else. So that alone ruins his whole statement. But if you move Kobe Bryant to the WNBA, now he has a whole list of physical advantages. So Kobe Bryant, RIP, thank you for being my hero, my male role model, and also the answer that destroys this whole guy's statement. Now let's spend a little bit more time with his stupidity. Now people that support this always point out that there's physical advantages, and they always seem to use Michael Phelps. Now here's another stat you should know about Michael Phelps if you don't know about swimming. I don't know about swimming, but I know about the stat because I looked it up. Michael Phelps is not undefeated. He has lost multiple times, which brings me to the point of the underdog. Right? Sometimes the worst team beats the best team. Sometimes the worst fighter beats the best fighter. Sometimes the worst swimmer will beat the best swimmer. And that's because at elite levels, sometimes someone's best can be better than the next on one day or one occasion or one moment where they're able to override those physical advantages. That's the whole point of creation of competition. If everyone was physically equal, it would be pointless because it would all be ties. Now, with that being said, the underdog factor, which they don't like to bring up, it doesn't apply to women against men. Literally, the only way a WNBA player could beat an NBA player is if the NBA player lets them. It's literally the only way. So what would happen if we listen to this idiot is you might as well combine women and men's sports again, and you'll never see another winning female again. That's all that will happen. And I'm not talking about in horse racing or ice skating or tumbling or something like that. I'm talking about in real physical sports. NBA, football, soccer, boxing, MMA. And speaking of MMA, if you want to take it even further, some sports will separate some of the physical advantages, right? You don't have heavyweights fighting lightweights. Why? Because the heavyweight would just smash him, no matter how good the lightweight is. It doesn't mean that that lightweight couldn't fight the heavyweight, catch a lucky punch, knock him out, and win. And according to the TQs, they would all jump up and say, see, told you it didn't matter. Now to us logical people that understand what's going on, we understand it was a lucky shot, and 99 out of 100 times, he's gonna get his ass knocked out. But this is the argument they are using now for having transgender women go against women, saying since there's already a physical advantage in the sport, why does it matter that they gained one from being a man? With that logic, you might as well make steroids legal in sports. Because hey, it's just a physical advantage, and those always existed, so why does it matter? Look, I got a 9-year-old daughter, and she plays basketball. I have 2 older sons, and I never tell her she's stronger, faster, and all this stuff than boys, even when she's playing against boys. And actually, I tell her once she goes against girls, it's going to be easier because they're not as strong as the boys. But what I tell her is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you're weak. Women aren't meant to be strong as guys. You only compare yourself to other girls. So in my opinion, because she's a basketball player, let's say she went to the WNBA. If she ever was so great that she could actually play with men, which I know won't happen, this is hypothetical. Say my daughter hypothetically got good enough to play in the NBA. I would still tell her not to play in the NBA. Unless you're just chasing money. What I would tell her is just be the greatest WNBA player ever by far. Hands down. Be the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant of the WNBA. Be that person. Have all the women chasing you and your records. Who gives a damn if she played in the NBA? Even if she went, she would go to the bench. Even if she went and succeeded, and that's what I tell her. I have no interest in her proving she can hang with boys later. And I also believe with me having no interest in that and just celebrating who she is, she's not going to care about that either. And trust me, that's way better than never being satisfied because you're trying to reach the level of men in athletics. Just embrace your own greatness. So that's the video covering how the TQs are going to argue that trans women should be able to play with women. Why? Because everyone has a physical advantage over somebody. So now that you know all athletes have a physical advantage over somebody, all I need you guys to do is comment below. Tell me what you think. Is it fair for trans women to join women's sports? You know, because everyone has to have a physical advantage? Or is this a bunch of hooey? But while you share your thoughts, I'm also gonna need you to hit that bell like the hunchback. Also click that hit checker button and sub ride with me. And I'll see you on the next trip. Day and night.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
All my life.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Can't help
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.